I'm going to show it to you is something we will edit on this app. And on this app, if we go to settings, so the issue is that on statistics there, when I update one achievement, so if I go here on the micro diet, I do edit a micro goal. And actually it's in plural, edit micro goals. Oh yeah, that's fine because we have multiple ones here. So that I haven't done a typo there. So no typo there, but when I do edit, I do 14 for the daily calorie intake, and that's actually very low. If I do 120, it should be, actually I made a typo there. Daily calorie. Yeah, that's okay. So I do 120, and then I do save, and it's not loading. Like, you see, I press save, and then the button is again active, and then it's been saved. And a better practice, especially for a good UX, for good user experience, is to have that button loading, like to be disabled. That button should be disabled until it's done. So while it's been saved to the backend, the saving button should be disabled. And for doing that, today we will use AI. It will be simple. So add your first meal, edit your macro goal. I believe. See, here we have already loading, so that's good. This one, yeah, we keep it in plural, that's fine. And then calorie intake. Yeah, here we keep it in singular, so that's fine too. It's in the update user micro goals. So what I will ask, that's a view when we save, so the update button. So let's go back, let's have a look. Again, we can actually use the simulator, might be a little bit easier. So if I go to the simulator here, and yes, I will just go here. Not sure if I can make it bigger. Yes, bigger like this. And then I do exactly the same statistics here. And so here, edit. So save. So it will be shown here. So I go back to food tracker. And if I search, I believe, yes, in the other one, so it's not in the update user micro goals. Oh yeah, it should be actually set your micro goals. Let's have a look. Micro goals, set your micro goals. Yeah, it should be here. Yeah, save button, actually, my bad, it's here. So lovely. So we will just do, I will delete that file, and I will mention when saving the form. When saving the form, set your micro goals. Although it's explicit because I mentioned it, I mentioned the file there. But you know, it's always better to be more explicit. The button save should be disabled until it's saved. So similar to if we go to stats view, it's the same. In stats view, we have that in place already. If I go to edit, there we have the loading, and we show loading, and then we have disabled here. So when that one, when is navigating is true, it shows loading and it's been disabled. So save, it should be, but the button save should be disabled until it's saved. So it should be loading as the button value, and disabled prop should be true until the data of the form has been saved. Yeah, so if we go back to, oh yeah, that's not the right file anymore because I changed the file. Okay, that's the right one. Update user, perfect. Now we are sure it's a correct file, because if you take the default file, if you change to a different file on the VS Code editor, like now if I go to a different file, you see it will change. So it's always nice to add the one you want explicitly by default, so it will always be there. Otherwise, if it's the one you are currently on, it will change if you just change the tab. Alright, so now you see, now we have the correct one plus the current one from the tab. So we are sure Copilot will understand what we do. And here I will just check something for the data. Yeah, I believe that's all, and that's the fields we have. Yeah, we can just press submit. I was just looking for the accessibility, and we already have everything, which is really good. We want to make the app accessible, and more important than ever these days is even like some requirements and some laws actually in some countries for mobile apps to support the the accessibility features offered by the OS of the phone, like iOS in my case for my app. And here, so it's parsing the file, and we should have something really similar to what we currently already have in the stats view. Something like that, where it's been set to, if I go to set is navigating, you see it's set into true when in the handle button press. And we should have something then extremely similar for our update user micro, and we can actually see now the changes. So it's already, it's done. So Copilot has worked for us. Set is loading to true, I like that. Then we call the API. And here update user data. And then I will just check where it's coming from. I forgot if it was update user data. Oh yeah, it's coming from the hook here. Yeah, from this hook. And after we call the API from there, we should, yeah, we call Firebase directly. So that's all good. And then here we have the catch block. Perfect. And then in the finally, we set is loading to false by default. If it fails or if it doesn't fail at the end, we set it back to false for the button to be again available. Yeah, that's perfect. And so loading or saving. Yeah, I like that. So this should be should now be done. We can see the div. So that's what we did. We can generate a commit message. Enhance microflow loading state. So that's not exactly what we did. Ensure save button is disabled until form is saved from backend, which is the backend is Firebase. And that will be our changes. So I will add that in the staging area for Git. I will commit that, and we can push that. Okay, yes, we can push that, and I believe everything is now done. So now we can test it actually in the simulator. So if I have something here and I click on save, you see it's saying loading. Amazing, that's exactly the behavior I want. So yeah, I've done it. That's super exciting, very happy. So now we can even check on GitHub. Here we should just wait that it's loaded. Perfect. So now we have the latest commit. That's wonderful. That's the new one from today. And I can check it. It looks really good. And always is a good practice to see if nothing else has changed. We never know. Sometimes Copilot would do a mistake and would change some existing logic, especially for a complex task you ask. Here it was relatively simple, but sometimes it would remove some functions that is not supposed to remove, to delete. So always double check, always do code reviews. It's even nice to ask Copilot to do it. I mean, you can create another branch and having everything done by Copilot in another branch, and then you raise a new pull request, and so it's easier for you to review what Copilot did from that pull request.